Marcus accidentally played Chloe's flirtatious voice message out loud. Marcus, I just found your underwear. It seems I got it dirty. Would you like me to wash it for you? He replied to the message without a change in expression, then continued to blow on the warm milk he was holding for me. But I only felt utterly exhausted, and seizing the moment, I proposed divorce. To my surprise, his eyes welled up, and he pulled me forcefully into his embrace, asking in a trembling voice, "Isn't our arrangement quite good? She handles matters outside, while you manage everything at home. Please don't leave, okay?" No. I knew it wasn't. The boy who, at 17, proudly waved 2 identical admission letters, laughing so freely and purely, would never come back. At 2 in the morning, as I sat staring blankly, hugging my knees, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and before I could react, Marcus pushed past me. I lost my balance and my stomach hit the corner of the table. The pain made it impossible to stand, so I curled my entire body up to relieve it. I lay on the floor, watching helplessly as Marcus gently placed the girl he was holding onto the sofa. I recognized her. She was Chloe, Marcus's new secretary, still in college. I'd seen her once before at an office banquet. That day, Marcus had frantically called me to bring him stomach medicine. I thought he was drinking himself to death again for business dinners and networking events, and I rushed over without a moment's delay. When I arrived, everyone respectfully called me Mrs. Marcus, but the contempt in their eyes was undeniable. Marcus didn't bother to explain anything for me, showing his disdain right in front of everyone. "Why are you dressed like that?" I froze for a moment, and when I tried to speak, he cut me off again. "Where's the medicine?" I handed him the medicine, just about to remind him to take it on time. Instead, I watched him give the medicine to Chloe right in front of me. His cold demeanor towards me was completely gone, replaced by an expression of utter doting. Chloe, wearing a pink evening gown, shyly held onto Marcus's arm, sizing up my down jacket. A strange sense of superiority gleamed in her eyes. "So you're Marcus's wife? You really are as unsophisticated as they say." She deliberately emphasized the word unsophisticated. The sneers in the eyes of those around us grew more pronounced. "Marcus, really, I just woke up too early and didn't have time to eat, so my stomach's a little uncomfortable. Why did you bother Luna to come all this way? It's too much trouble for her." Marcus scoffed. "That's about all she's good for, running errands." Chloe's eyes curved even higher. "Anyway, thank you, Luna. I've forgotten how I left that day. I think I developed a high fever after getting home. In my dream, I saw my deceased mother, who told me to take good care of myself, saying she'd worry if I wasn't doing well." My thoughts snapped back to the present. Chloe's face was pale now, and she covered her abdomen, too weak to speak, completely lacking the spirit she had that day. No wonder Marcus had been in such a rush. Marcus covered her with a blanket and turned to go to the kitchen, but she pulled him back. Chloe's voice was tearful. "Marcus, don't leave me." Marcus knelt beside her, his heart aching, and gently coaxed, "Silly girl, I'm going to make you a warm herbal drink. Don't worry, I'll never leave you." If I remembered correctly, he had said that to his previous secretary as well. Chloe's eyes were moist, her cheeks flushed, and she vaguely held on to him, refusing to let go. Marcus looked at her, his gaze softening even more. He decided to let her hold him. I watched them, and the pain in my abdomen seemed to transfer to my left chest. I tightly closed my eyes, taking deep breaths, trying not to shed tears in front of them. It was simply too humiliating. But even as I desperately tried to control myself, I couldn't stop my body from trembling. After a long moment of their affection, they finally noticed me lying on the floor. Chloe's tone was innocent, and she blinked her big eyes, asking me, "Luna, what are you doing lying on the floor?" I rolled over to face her. "Just cooling off. A -10-degree floor certainly makes a difference." After lying there for a while, it seemed like nothing hurt anymore. I struggled to get up from the floor and prepared a warm herbal drink for Chloe, handing it to her. I knew menstrual cramps could be excruciating. She froze, seemingly a bit embarrassed, and stammered, Thank you, Luna." Marcus opened his mouth but said nothing. He reached out to take the warm herbal drink from me again, but I subtly avoided him, directly placing it into Chloe's hand. After that, I padded back to my room in my dinosaur slippers. I ignored Marcus the entire time. From behind, I heard Chloe's cooing voice, "Marcus, the warm herbal drink is so hot, could you blow on it for me?" For a long moment, I didn't hear Marcus's response. Before closing the door, I thought I heard him call out Luna. The next morning, I was woken by Marcus knocking on my door. After entering, he habitually warmed a cup of milk and placed it in front of me. Having navigated the world of fame and fortune for years, he had learned to mask his true emotions. But when he saw the cake on the table, a flicker of undetectable panic still crossed his eyes. It quickly vanished, however, as if nothing had happened. Yesterday was my 27th birthday. He once said he would never miss any of my birthdays for the rest of my life. That reaction just now was probably him not yet accustomed to completely forgetting my birthday. He said softly, "Drink your milk quickly, I'll clean up these." If his phone hadn't coincidentally rung, I would have thought we were still that enviable couple. Without a second thought, Marcus tapped the voice message. The surroundings were eerily quiet. Even though he hadn't turned on the speaker, I heard it clearly. "Marcus, I just found your underwear. It seems I got it dirty. Would you like me to wash it for you?" The girl's voice was shy and full of anticipation. Marcus coldly replied, "Whatever you want," and tossed his phone aside. We sat in silence. As time slowly passed, the steaming milk gradually lost its warmth. Marcus got up and went to warm another cup for me, handing it to me. Seeing that I didn't take it for a long time, he didn't get angry, just quietly watched me. He was always like this. The calmer he was, the more I felt like a lunatic. Without realizing it, tears had already blurred my vision. "Marcus, since you're too lazy to even pretend anymore, why are you still coming back?" Marcus's hand, suspended in the air, stiffened. He simply said, "You said you'd worry if you didn't see me before bed." I looked up at him, finding every word ridiculous. Taking a deep breath, I finally decided to utter the words that had repeated countless times in my mind. "Marcus, let's get a divorce." His eyes, as he looked at me, trembled slightly, as if he was finally willing to spare me some emotion. Then he forcefully pulled me into his embrace. "Isn't our arrangement quite good? She handles matters outside, while you manage everything at home. Please don't leave, okay?" After a long while, seeing that I still didn't retract my words or beg him not to leave me, he got angry. His fingers, gripping the cup, tightened abruptly, and he violently smashed the cup to the ground. He irritably tore off his tie and threw it aside, then leaned down to meet my gaze, his eyes sharp, as if threatening me. "Luna, don't be stubborn. Who else will you rely on without me?" See? He had calculated that I only had him, which is why he dared to hurt me so brazenly. He also knew very well that I only had him, yet he still chose to hurt me. I pulled out the divorce papers. "You are the at-fault party. According to the agreement, you will leave with nothing." Marcus casually glanced at scoffed, and indifferently shredded it to pieces. "Do you think my legal team is no match for a few photos in your hand?" He bent down to wipe away the lingering tears on my face. "Be good, don't throw a tantrum. Yesterday, the young girl was simply in too much pain to walk. It won't happen again. My wife will always be you, listen to me." I turned my head away, avoiding his touch. "I'll be moving out soon. Contact me when you're ready to sign. I've sent you the electronic version." Marcus realized I was serious. He took 2 steps back and looked down at me. "Luna, I'm giving you one more chance to think it over. I'll come back in a couple of days." 27-year-old Marcus, even his retreating figure was so unfeeling. He was arrogant and conceited now, convinced that I was just throwing a fit and would come crawling back in a couple of days. But he didn't know that I never thought I could take all his assets. As he said, I didn't have the ability. 3 years ago, I discovered that every one of his secretaries was his mistress. At first, I became hysterical and argued with him, demanding to know why he was doing this to me. What I got in return was his face full of disappointment and blame, as if I were the one who had done something wrong. In that instant, I understood that the boy who, at 17, promised to protect me for life was gone. 27-year-old Marcus had personally killed him. Every night after that, the struggle between reason and emotion tormented me to the point of agony. In the end, it was cruel reality that defeated the love of my youth. But having been out of society for so long, what did I have to fight him with? I couldn't think of anything. Later, I consulted a lawyer online and learned that any personal items belonging to the wife would be hers alone in a divorce. Thus, I began to plan. I would soften my stance towards Marcus, pleading him that I couldn't live without him. Over 3 years, my love for him gradually faded. But in his eyes, I loved him more than before, was even clingier. Sometimes, I even admired my own acting. He was very pleased with my change. Perhaps his cheating made him feel some guilt. He never refused any requests I made. Designer bags, clothes, and shoes, though they depreciated quickly, made up for it in sheer quantity. Whenever there was a jewelry auction, I would find ways to go along, spending anywhere from hundreds of thousands to tens of millions. Every time I bought those pieces of jewelry, I would deliberately go and show them off to the wealthy wives, telling everyone that Marcus had bought them for me. Marcus, unaware of the truth, always enjoyed it. I knew he reveled in others' admiration. This might have been one of the reasons he cheated, but I was too lazy to delve deeper. I never questioned his numerous flings either. I meticulously calculated how much longer it would be until I could completely break free from him. Finally, on my 27th birthday, I bought myself my favorite strawberry cake to celebrate my impending rebirth. After a busy day, all I could take with me were 2 suitcases of belongings. As I put down the divorce papers and was about to leave, perhaps because I hadn't eaten breakfast, or perhaps because everything had utterly exhausted me, a wave of dizziness swept over me, and I collapsed onto the sofa. It took a while to recover before I could barely see anything clearly. When I propped myself up to get off the sofa, I noticed a bloodstain on it. I scoffed at myself. They say a good partner can cure irregular periods. Perhaps it was from lying on the cold floor for too long, but my lower abdomen hurt exceptionally badly this time. When you're down on your luck, you really hit rock bottom. When I went to my room to get a sanitary pad, I found I was out. But thankfully, there was a convenience store downstairs. When I returned, I found a warm herbal drink on the table. There was also a journal with a slightly yellowed cover. Looking quite old. It looked familiar, as if I had seen it somewhere before. Curiosity drove me to open the first page. On it were a few large, endearingly clumsy words. Marcus is my of Luna, March 12, 2014. Today I made Luna angry again. She gave me this journal and told me to write an apology note for her. I'm not writing it, I protest. Spoiled, why don't you ask me why I got into a fight? Don't you know that guy, Ethan, was bad-mouthing you, saying you were desperate to win his affection? I told you your taste was terrible. You can't like him just because his name has you in it, can you? Then I'll change my name to Jiang too. Holy crap, that sounds so dumb. Fine, I won't argue with you. If I don't write it, you'll cry again, and I hate seeing you cry. Marcus, promise I'll never fight again and won't make Luna worry. But must also promise not to get too close to other boys. The last sentence was scribbled out and changed to Luna is free. The naive handwriting, stroke by stroke, carried me into the flow of memories. 17-year-old Marcus was like a fierce beast on the basketball court, relentlessly attacking Ethan from the next class. Neither of them would back down, frequently colliding and falling to the ground. I was in the stands. Ethan glanced in my direction, then leaned in close to Marcus. From a distance, I could only see Ethan's lips moving, his eyes full of provocation. I had no idea what he said. I only remembered that after he spoke, Marcus slammed the basketball into his face, kicked him to the ground, and pinned him down, almost beating him to death. A dozen teachers tried to pull him away, but couldn't. By the time I ran over, one of Ethan's teeth had already been knocked out, but still showed no sign of stopping. My eyes welled up with tears and frustration. Marcus, stop hitting him. He seemed to trigger some program, freezing in place. Ethan seized the chance to scramble away. Marcus's gaze met mine, and he nervously lowered his head. When school ended, for the first time, I left without waiting for him. I also knew that a hanger-on had been following me at a discreet distance the entire way home. When I was almost home, I stopped and waited for him. He slowed his pace, inching towards me, and handed me a bottle of warm milk. He mumbled, "I'm sorry." I couldn't hold back my tears anymore and punched him in the chest. "Do you know how dangerous it was today? What if something had happened to you?" He awkwardly wiped my tears. "Hey, don't cry. I won't do it again." I pushed him away and gave him the journal. "This will be your reflection journal from now on. Every time you make me angry, you write an apology note, or I won't talk to you." Marcus smiled helplessly. "All right, my lady." Under the blue sky and white clouds, we walked side by side under the sycamore trees. A gentle breeze brushed past, and the boy turned his head with a mischievous grin. "Luna, were you worried about me today?" The girl felt her face flush. "Who's worried about you?" "I was afraid something would happen to you and Aunt would be sad." 17-year-old infatuation was sincere, romantic, passionate, and irreplaceable. March 13, 2014. After a lot of thought, I still wrote a new apology note for Luna. I still won't tell her about Ethan. I've already confirmed it, Ethan was just spreading rumors unilaterally. Life should just be simple and happy, she doesn't need to experience these complicated, dark things. I don't know why Ethan would do that. Picks up mirror and looks at self, nods, yes, it must be jealousy of my dashing good looks. Seeing this, I couldn't help but laugh aloud. 17-year-old Marcus was always so full of himself. As for Ethan, he had confessed his feelings to me, and I had rejected him. Once, I overheard someone ask him if his confession was successful. Perhaps to save face, Ethan boasted, "You should have seen how touched Luna was when I confessed to her." As he turned, he bumped right into "Oh me." The person behind him even shouted directly, "Sister-in-law." I ignored them and walked straight to the trash can beside them, saying, "There's quite a lot of trash today." Ethan's face flushed crimson, he cursed, and then left. After that, the rumor that I was desperate to win his affection intensified. I disdained to explain. I believed that clear water needs no stirring. Those who truly cared for me wouldn't believe such baseless things. I never expected Marcus to beat him half to death because of it. And I also never expected him to deliberately hide this matter. Foolish. But it also seemed to fit his style. Since childhood, whenever something bad happened, he was always there to shield me. At 6 years old, he already liked patting his chubby chest and assuring me, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." May 21, 2014, 8 p.m. I've decided not to talk to Luna for the rest of this week. Today, I said I wanted to go to the same college as her, and she actually retorted, "Can you even get in?" Oh, my temper. What does she mean? What does she mean? Is she looking down on me? May 21, 2014, 9 p.m. Just checked my ranking, seems like I'm quite a bit behind. Asking online, how do you go from 500 points to 700 points in 1 year? What if Luna is too excellent? What if she goes to Westmont University and someone bullies her when I'm not there? Also, what if she falls for someone else? May 22, 2014, 1 a.m. Studying is so damn tiring. But when I think of Luna, it doesn't seem so bad after all. During that time, he was incredibly driven, and even the teachers were astonished by his transformation. Especially his physics grades, which were almost always perfect on tests, drawing the school's attention. June 1, 2014 Today gave me a form for the physics competition. She said the physics teacher asked her to bring it to me. She said that if I achieved excellent results in this competition, I would have a chance for early admission through a competition to Westmont University. Why? And today when she told me about this, her face was flushed, so cute. She doesn't know, if I wasn't afraid of startling her, I'd really want to kiss her. I must get into Westmont University. I really don't trust anyone else with her. With grades at the time, the chance of him getting into Westmont University with raw scores was only 50%. To be safe, early admission through a competition was the more secure route. I could see that he was uncharacteristically serious that time, giving it his absolute all. He spent most of his time in the physics teacher's office. He was often so tired he could fall asleep standing up. When I went to get water, I would bring him a cup too. Even when he was too tired to speak, he would still force himself to smile innocently when he saw me. Just wait, I'm definitely getting into Westmont University. The day he took the exam, I spent the whole day working on a chemistry paper. In the end, I realized it was still blank. My scratch paper was filled with Marcus. Riverton in midsummer was stiflingly hot, the sky a clear blue, with a hint of dryness in the clouds, and cicadas joining the chorus. The person behind me had been standing there for who knows how long. Sunlight filtered through the dappled tree shadows, falling on the boy's face. He raised his eyes, his long eyelashes fluttering, and a pair of charming eyes held the unique arrogance of youth. When he looked at me, a faint smile played on his lips. "I'm here to take you home." I vaguely remember the evening breeze was very gentle that day. November 6, 2014 I really want to see Luna quickly now, and personally show her my admission letter. What should I say then? Will it put pressure on her? Why isn't it morning yet? Luna. 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 Marcus likes Luna. I still remember that day. He ran through the entire academic building, asking everyone where I was, finally finding me at the chemistry teacher's desk. The boy, wearing a blue-striped school uniform, stood breathlessly in front of me, holding his admission letter high above his head, like someone who had won a battle. In front of all the teachers, he raised his lips, smiling freely and boldly. "Luna, I did it. Don't forget what you said, that you'd apply to the same college as me." Sunlight streamed through the door and windows onto his face, making the mole near his eye seem even more striking. I pretended not to hear, continuing to bury my head in my chemistry paper, though my heart was already in a mess. The dense chemical symbols on the paper were unreadable to me. Marcus grew anxious. He stepped forward, cupped my face, and met my gaze. "Luna, why aren't you responding? Did you hear what I said? Are you still mad at me?" "Oh, come on, don't be angry. I've been studying hard, just like you told me to. Why is your face so red? Do you have a fever? I'll take you to the school nurse's office." The chemistry teacher next to me couldn't help but laugh, and the other teachers also looked at us with fond, knowing smiles. I was so embarrassed that I pushed him away and said, "I know." Marcus immediately deflated like a leaky balloon. "That's it?" I thought, why is this person so stubborn? The chemistry teacher saw this and teased, "She's a sensitive girl, you're just clueless, aren't you?" At this, the entire office erupted in laughter. Marcus finally caught on and awkwardly scratched his head. Seeing that I had no mind for difficult problems now, the chemistry teacher gave me half a day off. "Luna, relax. With your current level, this competition is practically a sure thing." And just as the teacher said, I took first place in the province. I also successfully gained early admission to Westmont University with excellent grades. January 6, 2015. Luna's admission letter arrived today. How should I confess to her? Roses, definitely need roses. What else? Oh, right, candles. Would that be too cliché? Strawberries, she loves strawberries the most. When she was little, she didn't. T talked to me for days just because I took her strawberry. The internet says a healthy relationship starts with a formal confession. Would this still not be formal enough? To be safe, I'll wear a suit. Will it scare her? What if she rejects me? Rejecting me is a small matter, but what if she doesn't like me but feels too awkward to reject me and just gets together with me vaguely? No, that's not what a gentleman does. On second thought, maybe it's not impossible. If she doesn't like me now, I'll work hard to make her like me, to make her like me a little more each day. I don't ask for a sudden burst of love, only for steady longevity. He did give me an extremely formal confession. On graduation ceremony day, he even had custom suits made for the school dogs. So much so that later, on a normal afternoon, we were curled up on the sofa, happily nestled in each other's arms, looking through the photos taken that day. Marcus pointed to a chubby-cheeked golden retriever in a photo and complained to me, "The security guard's dog got fat too fast. I had to personally sew it a suit." I giggled uncontrollably, rolling around on the sofa. Marcus playfully tickled me. "Still laughing? Do you know I almost licked that thread ragged trying to thread the needle, and my hands were practically pincushions?" Knowing he wanted me to coax him, I made exaggerated gestures and expressions. "Wow, Marcus, you're so amazing. Do your hands still hurt? Luna will kiss it better, no more boo-boos." Marcus looked at me triumphantly. "That's more like it." Lying in his arms that day, the scene of his confession played repeatedly in my mind. I had specifically worn my favorite aqua blue dress. Walking along, everywhere I went, a rose was offered, and a faint anticipation began to build in my heart. The soccer field center was covered in rose petals. Because it was daytime, he used strawberry decorations instead of candles, forming a heart shape. Marcus's trembling hands holding the roses. His EYES reddened after I said yes. Through his eyes, I saw myself. And the passion and excitement of the boys around us, the blessings of teachers and classmates. I remembered it all. But 27-year-old Marcus forgot. 27-year-old Marcus's eyes weren't as clear as they were at 17. And he no longer saw me. Further back in the journal were only our photos and scenic pictures. Next to each photo was a detailed note of the date and location of the outing. Most numerous were the wedding photos. The journal gradually transformed into a relationship scrapbook. Each turn of the page was like opening a door to the past, every entry capturing a real moment. It wasn't until I was 22 that Marcus started writing in journal form again. November 20, 2019. Maya's sick. She doesn't recognize anyone. The doctor said it's depression, a stress response after immense suffering. She's slowly closing herself off, not letting anyone near, occasionally acting like a child, crying for her mom. I hate myself for letting her go through such pain, for not being there that day. I'm sorry, Luna, it's all my fault. I didn't protect you well enough. I'm sorry. Even if you never get better, I'll always be with you. Luna, I love you. At 22, my once happy life underwent an upheaval. I discovered that I had been living in a grand deception all along. My parents, aunt, uncle, and even Marcus, they had all been lying to me. My father wasn't constantly on business trips. He had already started a new family elsewhere. And my mother, knowing everything, had endured it for my sake, pretending to be a loving couple with my father. Until one day I returned home and found my dad bringing a 16 or 17-year-old boy home. My mother's hair was disheveled, and she sat blankly on the floor, her eyes hollow, like an empty shell without a soul. I knelt down, begging my mom to look at me, and she finally showed a slight reaction. She hugged me tightly, as if grasping a life line. but I, with my own hands, crushed the last shred of hope in her heart. Mom, get a divorce. You still have me. Mom suddenly pushed me away, crying and whimpering as she looked at my father and me, almost on the verge of collapse. My daughter has grown up, and you'll never come back to my side. In that instant, my mind went blank, my thoughts completely stalled. Before I could react, Mom had run to the balcony, abandoning me without a trace of hesitation. It was me. I had personally killed my mother. Night after night, I dreamed of my mother lying on the floor, staring at me with wide eyes, questioning why I had to grow up, why I had forced her to divorce. Gradually, I closed myself off. During that time, my world consisted of only a white room. Inside, I could hear sounds from outside, but no matter how loud I screamed, no one outside could hear me. Until one day, I heard Marcus say, "Luna, I've been waiting for you for a long time. When are you coming back?" That day, a crack appeared in the white room, and a ray of light shone through. June 30, 2021. 2 years have passed, and Luna still hasn't remembered me. Every time I get close to her, she just smiles blankly. But something interesting happened today. The office hired a new secretary for me. This young girl, just out of college, cried and looked incredibly wronged when I yelled at her. Quite cute. In that moment, she reminded me of how Luna used to cry easily in high school, then always say she could handle it after crying. This young girl was the same today, secretly cheering herself on in the office, thinking I didn't see her. Luna probably won't get better. After a long pause, I came back to my senses and gave a self-deprecating smile. So, while I was working hard to get better and live a good life with him, he had already grown tired of waiting and developed feelings for someone else. Indeed, what right did I, someone who couldn't even heal herself, have to demand that someone wait for me? Definitely? It was like when I asked him why he cheated. He said, "Luna, you've been unwell for so long, am I supposed to remain faithful forever for you?" But by then, I was clearly already better. And yes, once feelings develop, they're hard to turn off. September 24, 2021. When I woke up today, Luna grabbed me and called out, "Marcus." My first reaction wasn't even happiness. I don't know what's wrong with me. I used to wish for her to get better quickly, but I don't know when it started. I actually began to think this way was pretty good too. I hate myself for becoming like this. I was the one who said I'd protect her forever. Now I'm also the one hurting her. January 17, 2022. Last night, I dreamed we were in high school. Luna had her hair in a high ponytail, walking ahead of me. When she noticed I wasn't keeping up, she complained teasingly, "Marcus, if you don't hurry up, I'm leaving." In the dream, she really left, and no matter how fast I ran, I couldn't catch her. Waking up startled, I looked at her sleeping beside me, relieved that it was only a dream. No matter what, she will always be my only wife. She can't live without me, and I can't live without her. March 12, 2022. She found out I cheated. Except for the time Aunt jumped, I'd never seen her cry so heartbrokenly. My heart ached faintly, and I wanted to go over and explain my difficulties. But she pushed me away harshly, cursing me with terrible words. In a fit of anger, I stormed out, leaving a harsh remark, "Think carefully, without me, you have no one to rely on." April 5, 2022. When called me, I was genuinely happy. The secretary next to me was throwing a tantrum and hung up Luna's call. For a moment, I wished I could kill this filthy woman right in front of me. How dared she hang up on Luna? I sent the secretary away. I cautiously picked up my phone, hoping Luna would call again. I secretly swore to myself that if she was willing to forgive me, I would go back to being the Marcus who was Devo. Ted to her. Thankfully, she did call again. But I still adopted a superior demeanor, waiting for her to beg me. She did, as I wished, pleading with me not to divorce her. I hummed and then hung up the phone. I shouldn't be like this. August 17, 2023. I cheated again. I seem to have become accustomed to all this. Now, even feelings of guilt are rare. But I just feel inexplicably uneasy. I always feel like I'm about to lose something important. The last entry in the journal was written by him today. March 12, 2024. Luna, do you remember why you gave me this journal? You said that from now on, every time I made you angry, I had to write an apology note in this book for you to forgive me. I'm going to assume that promise still counts. Wife, I truly know I was wrong. Please forgive me one last time, okay? I promise it will never happen again. You said you want to see the Rockies, diving in the Caribbean, the Aurora. Once I've handled the matters at hand, we can go, okay? Be a good girl and wait for me to come back. The entire entry was written in a casual, messy hand, unlike the neat and serious handwriting of his youth. I don't know why he put this journal here. Was he hoping to make me change my mind, or was it self-serving manipulation disguised as affection? I didn't care. Some things, when love is still present, are beautiful memories. Now, this journal was more like a list of his offenses. I took it with me and casually threw it into a trash can. Just then, a garbage truck came by. I watched as the journal was buried under a full load of trash until I couldn't see it anymore. While watching the aurora in Iceland, I received a notification that my credit card had been frozen. I opened my chat window with Marcus. One by one, over 99 plus messages popped up. Ever since I left, I had set him to do not disturb. He refused to divorce me and had been threatening to cut off my credit card every day. Finally, 3 months passed and he took action. Because in his eyes, without him, I was useless, incapable of doing anything. I didn't read a single one of his messages, I just cleared the chat history. After some more time passed, he called, and I answered. A hoarse voice reached my ears. Luna, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Can I see you one more time? I replied, devoid of emotion, we will see each other one last time. His tone instantly became joyful. When? When we finalize our divorce at the county's office. He roared on the other end of the line, let me tell you, as long as I don't agree, forget about it. How long do you think you can hide from me without money? On the streets abroad, selling a few cherished items wasn't difficult. My only requirement was cash. There would always be private collectors willing to pay for them. I didn't wait for Marcus to relent. Instead, I ran into Chloe on the streets of Paris. When she saw me, a wary look appeared in her eyes. What are you doing here? Are you desperate to win Marcus's affection again? Old woman, can't you see he doesn't love you anymore? Why are you still clinging to him? I found it laughable. I pulled out the chat history I hadn't had time to delete and handed it to her. Open your eyes and see who's clinging to whom. She stumbled back 2 steps in disbelief, tears welling in her eyes. Then I showed her some of the evidence I had collected of Marcus's infidelity. There were intimate photos of him with her, but it wasn't limited to just her. The man you think only loves you has kissed, hugged, and slept with who knows how many people, and said those same words to who knows how many others. If you're only after his money, then pretend I never said anything. But if you're after him as a person, then I advise you to open your eyes. Chloe crouched on the ground, crying inconsolably, refusing to get up, drawing a crowd of onlookers. Feeling embarrassed, I left. Marcus realized I had no intention of going back. He called and said he agreed to the divorce. But the divorce papers had to be as he had redrafted them. I pretended to argue with him for a bit to lower his guard. He was pleased with my reaction. But the moment I said, fine, his face darkened instantly, and he gritted his teeth, saying, don't you dare regret this. Of course. Just as I expected, he left no room for negotiation. The new divorce papers stated that I would leave with nothing. Well, that was fine, it saved me from unnecessary entanglement. Once the jewelry was sold for cash, it would be enough for me to live comfortably for the rest of my life. After leaving the county's office, Marcus still acted superior. He told me in a condescending tone, it's not too late to regret it now. You should know, without me, you can't even support yourself. I didn't understand why he always thought that. You know, even if I hadn't entered that competition, I could have gotten into Westmont University based on my raw scores. I had always been stronger and more capable than him. During those 2 rotten years, I did fall into an abyss, but I was always trying to save myself. Every single moment, I never truly gave up on myself. Every day going forward, I would live well. I used the money from selling the jewelry to pursue a graduate degree abroad. Coincidentally, the professor advising me was the same one who taught us molecular during my undergraduate degree. When he recognized me, he happily treated everyone to a meal, saying it was to celebrate the arrival of his junior colleague. At the dinner table, Professor looked regretful. When you were an undergraduate, you did a lot of research with me. At that time, I already felt I had to bring you into my fold for graduate studies, but I never expected. Professor seemed to recall something and looked a little embarrassed. I smiled to lighten the mood. It's okay, Professor. That's all in the past. I'm doing very well now. Professor looked at me with satisfaction. Seeing you in such good spirits now, I'm truly happy for you. We fall, we break, we plunge into the abyss, but we will ultimately be lifted up, healed, and one day, we will be fearless. Suddenly, Leo gasped. You're Marcus's ex-wife. Everyone turned their curious gazes toward me. I didn't deny it. Yes, but that's all in the past. He was just a passerby in my life. After dinner, Leo approached me. I know Chloe. I instinctively frowned slightly. He quickly explained, no, it's not that. I wanted to tell you that she's very grateful to you. She said thank you for waking her up. You're welcome. Only a few days of peace passed. Marcus actually came looking for me. Leo came to apologize again, bowing 90 degrees to me. I'm sorry, senior colleague. That day, I sent Chloe the photos from our gathering, and I didn't realize Marcus was right there next to her. Didn't you say they broke up? Leo scratched his head, embarrassed. My friends back home said they're just having a physical relationship now. Tell Miller I'm willing to move with him to the research institute in Canada. As I turned to leave, Marcus blocked my way. He had his head down, like a puppy waiting for its owner's comfort. Luna, I miss you so much. I scoffed. Miss me in what position? Marcus was speechless for a moment, then inexplicably glared at Leo standing nearby. Leo, startled, hid behind me and whimpered, senior colleague, I'm scared. I patted him, signaling that it was okay. Marcus tried to grab me, but I dodged him. Enough already. You're too old for this. Do you think you're still a college boy? It's disgusting to watch. Can't you see how much better I am without you? Not only did I not starve, but I've become even more accomplished. Be smart and get lost. After that, I never saw Marcus again. Just one afternoon, a considerable sum of money appeared in my bank account. The attached message read, "This is what belongs to you, what I owe you. I'm sorry. I regret it." There was nothing new about it, I was sick of hearing it. As the saying goes, a leopard doesn't change its spots.